Welcome back to iHeartRadio So Bad It's Good. Today, I love these episodes the most because I get to take two people that I've never met in my life that have an amazing podcast that you guys should listen to, and I get to meet them and talk trash with them, which trash means pop culture, and they are two of the best. I was just listening to a bunch of their episodes, and they're great. They do 3 episodes a week. The episodes are like in 30 minutes, not like really long form like I do, where you're like, just like, oh my God, just stop already. This like gets in and out, and it's really, really, really fun and amazing. It focuses on pop culture, TikTok trends, and the two hosts are amazing. I mean, I got to find out more about the two hosts themselves. The two hosts are Michael Judson Berry and Paris Nicholson, and together they come to form this podcast called The Social Dose, which just started a little bit ago. I do recommend to put it on your daily rotation, your weekly rotation. I'm telling you, these are just quick hits that you can listen to, laugh with, and kind of points you. Like my favorite podcasts are the one that I listen to and kind of shake my head. I'm like, yes, okay, Gwyneth Paltrow. Yes, okay, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So anyways, without further ado, welcome Michael Judson Berry and Paris Nicholson. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Okay,
Hi.
let's identify
so much,
voices. Okay, so Paris, say something in your voice.
Hello, my name is Paris Nicholson, and you can find me at Paris Nicholson on all social platforms.
And Michael, say something in your voice and where we can find you.
And I'm Michael Judson Berry, and you can find me at mjudsonberry on socials.
Okay, well, it was good talking to you guys. We'll talk to you next time. Yeah.
Great. Okay, bye.
Bye.
No, it's fair if you mix us up. I've had so many friends and like my sister and people who know me well who've been like, we listen to your show, and sometimes it's like you two become one person. I'm like,
but I kind of like that. You guys have
Paris.
You guys have like this really soothing voices that I was like, oh, these are like great voiceover voices, which is another thing that makes a podcast really good when you're just like, wow, these really, I was like, I can swim in these voices, which was such a weird thought to have. God. I know. I was like, this
Thank you.
A really, really weird thought. So describe
That's the sexiest thing anyone said to me all day.
And I made it. It's so early in the morning here in Los Angeles still. Describe what your podcast is to the listener that has never listened to it before.
So our podcast, The Social Dose, is really a bite-sized weekly dose, 3 times a week, like you said, Ryan, of the latest trends, the latest happenings on social media, in case you missed them. You know, sometimes we get so busy with life that we fall behind in what everyone's talking about in our group chats. And we're like, wait, what is Gwyneth Paltrow doing right now? Why is everyone talking about her? We are here to catch you up, besties. We are your gay best friends who are like, this is what happened and this is what we think about it. And you should probably let us know what you think about it too, so we can all discuss the mess.
Yeah.
And how did you guys come together?
We met on Worst Cooks in America on Food Network.
Are you kidding me?
No, they did a viral sensation season. So all the contestants were viral sensations. And we bonded almost like day one. I think I met Paris.
Yeah,
and I was like,
immediately.
You're going to be my friend. And after that, pretty much every day we like walked onto set holding pinkies. It was this adorable like friendship at first sight. And we spent the entire show talking about how we needed a podcast. We needed to do something together. And we didn't know what it would be. And then this just was presented to us pretty much right around the end of the show. And we were like, oh, perfect. Let's do it. It was
kismet.
So fortuitous.
The worst cooks. Indeed. The worst cooks have led to the best of friends. I mean, there was a positive experience all around.
Indeed. Yeah.
What are, in terms of each of your backgrounds and your past, like what is your past? Like I was reading some of your bios and you guys have like seemed like you've had led such full lives, but also what gives everybody always asks me, what gives you the right to talk about pop culture? What gives you the right, you guys, to talk about all of these things every week, 3 times a week?
Mm-hmm.
I think a great answer to that question. Okay. Go ahead, Michael.
No, go ahead, Paris. You have a great answer. Mine was only mediocre at best.
I think a great answer to that question is we don't have the right to talk about any of these things, and yet we still insist on doing so. Sure, there were plenty of white gays that had podcasts, but we said, why not add another? Why not make it a big dozen? Just add to the noise with nothing real to contribute.
No. Well, hey, you're perfect. That's it. That's the answer. Yeah.
But I feel like we come at this differently because, like, I, before lockdown, knew nothing about social media. I could barely turn my phone on, let alone use it. All my friends are like shocked that I'm the one that works in social media. And I got into it during lockdown doing like sketches and comedy things on TikTok and Instagram. And they went well. And then I spent basically all of lockdown learning how social media works and getting really into it. So it's kind of fun because I feel like I'm new to the scene, and Paris is like my guide in a way. Because I feel like, Paris, you're much more like in this world. And so being on this podcast researching it is a lot of fun for somebody like me who's like, this is all fresh, new, and exciting. I feel like I'm on a magic social media carpet ride. And
it's usually me explaining to Michael what's been going on online and like how to update his phone to get the new emojis.
Because I don't know. I'm the relatable one, I guess you could say.
That's the, I mean, TikTok for me, that was the last man standing where I really refused to get into TikTok. And now, unfortunately, in the last 6 months, I've become obsessed with TikTok, so much so that, I mean, I don't really participate in posting videos myself that much, but at night, that's like my wind down at night is not even, it's just scrolling TikTok. And you guys were, I mean, like, I'm on Jasper the Doll TikTok now.
Oh, yes.
I'm on. Would you guys explain to the audience Jasper the Doll? I was trying to do this the other day and then I just gave up entirely. What is your take on Jasper the Doll on TikTok?
So for those of you who aren't informed or inundated, Jasper the Doll is a deranged Barbie doll character who has risen to fame on the platform TikTok. She's got disheveled hair, wretched makeup, and the voice of a 70-year-old smoker from Long Island. And she's really just become one of the hottest things on your For You page. And what I love most about TikTok, and I didn't really realize this when I was sort of like where you were at, Ryan, where I didn't get TikTok. I was like, I felt like I was too old for TikTok for some reason. But what I didn't realize is that TikTok will very quickly turn into a platform that gives you what you specifically want. And if you specifically are the type that responds to a demented, deranged Barbie doll with a smoker's voice, you're going to be introduced very quickly to Jasper the Doll.
Yeah.
What's up?
That was a great Jasper.
And it's like, and it's always like dancing. And then it's like, I want to start giving like chicken boobies. It's really, and I was showing my friend and she was just like, I hate this. This is horrible. And I'm like, I think this is the funniest thing ever. But now you're right. Yeah. TikTok does that thing where you sit on like one video for a second watching it, and then they give you that 3,000 more times.
Oh yeah.
That's why I always laugh when like politicians are like, well, TikTok's just a bunch of dancing teenage girls in bikinis. And it's like, not for everyone. It's not. You're you're telling on yourself right now.
Yeah. You wish, buddy. Yeah. So what is on your TikTok For You pages? I'm right now getting chicharrones. Like somehow I got on chicharrone TikTok where they'll go get chicharrones from a Mexican supermarket and dip it in guacamole and then make really crunchy sounds. And somehow I just sat on one of those videos and now I'm getting 3,000 of people eating chicharrones. What is the weirdest thing on your For You pages right now?
Oh, I love that. I want to be on your For You page. I'm just going to open my TikTok right now and see what pops up because I'm so intrigued. This is going to be like a fun little game. This feels so me. The first thing I opened up is Old Hollywood Bloopers Part 5. And it's like, because I love old movies. I'm a huge old Hollywood buff. And TikTok recently, I think because I had a conversation with somebody about Mae West and my phone was listening. And now every time I open it, it's just like black and white clips of Betty Davis going, "Fuck, I messed up my lines." I love it.
Did you ever see that Orson Welles clip? Did you ever see that Orson Welles clip of Orson
the one where
drunk?
He's drunk?
Yes, exactly. In the commercial, he's like, "I'll tell you what." It's so good.
I love that one.
And what about you, Paris? What's on your For You page?
I'm seeing a lot of memes, both celebrating and dragging famed Drag Race contestant Lucy LaDuca for her hit song "Let Loose" by Lucy LaDuca. I'm seeing a lot of that on my page right now.
Is there some? Because also, sorry, and what?
I was going to say, my friends and I were just in Santa Barbara, and we just kept singing "Let Loose" by Lucy LaDuca, even though none of us care for the song whatsoever. It was a staple of the trip.
That's what I wanted to say is that I've noticed with social media, they push, it's not only the things you love, it's the things you hate now. And that I feel like is a lot of pop culture is that, and especially I specialize in housewives and reality shows and Bravo. And I was talking about this yesterday is that it's not even the part of loving housewives is hating a housewife, like part of that. And that seems to spread over into pop culture as well, is that it's not only on TikTok the things you love, it's the things you hate, and they keep giving you those things you hate. What do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, it's called rage baiting. And here's the thing. If you engage with content you hate, you will continue to see that content. When I hate something, I scroll away as quickly as possible, or I'll even go as far as to hold my finger on that little screen and say, not interested.
Wow, that's bold.
Make the algorithm work for you. Tell it what it needs to do its job successfully.
I feel like if you hit the not interested button, though, sometimes they're like, LOL, we're going to give you double. Like, it's almost like I feel like you got a straight up block.
Out of spite.
Yeah.
I love the idea of TikTok being spiteful, that there's some angry office worker somewhere who's like, no, I disagree. You need to see this.
Just try one more. Again. Just try one more. You guys were talking about your latest episode is that, TikTok is now even big in the government because they keep floating this idea of banning TikTok. TikTok's going away. They're spying on us, because the app developers over in China. But you guys are saying like, listen, this is most likely never going to happen. But if it did happen, where do we go? Like, what is our end of the night treat? Where do we go if TikTok, like what happens to all these freaks that have become celebrities on TikTok?
Oh, I think Instagram would be thrilled. I think it would be that many more people on Instagram and Reels would just continue to blow up even more. And someone would just create another version of TikTok. I mean, I'm impressed that TikTok has held on this, that TikTok has become as big as it has, because I feel like, Instagram is sort of the old mainstay, we've got it. But the other ones sort of like TikTok, we've cycled through a few versions, and TikTok just seems like the best version of what it is. But I feel like if they banned it, give it 2 weeks, someone would invent something similar, and we'd all be right back on where we were.
I mean, Instagram won so badly. Yeah, they got rid of Vine. Yeah, you're right. Vine was like,
Vine would come back maybe. Who knows?
No, it is interesting to see a cycle through different like social media apps, and TikTok seems to be the one that gets like the most amount of people's eyes, even though it seems like a redheaded stepchild when certain people talk about it, of like, it's not Instagram, it's not, like these old mainstay social medias. But can you speak more to even the algorithm behind it? It really is fascinating. Michael, you were mentioning earlier, if you say something around your phone, it picks it up and then puts it into, like I was talking about Jen Shaw going to prison on Real Housewives. She's a housewife that went to prison, and all of a sudden I started getting prison TikTok, which literally is prisoners that have somehow snuck a phone into prison. And I got to tell you, it looks really like, some of it doesn't look that bad. They were like making breakfast burritos, but like, what is, I mean, the phone can't keep lying to us. It definitely is listening to us. TikTok is definitely listening to what we do.
I have no idea if it really is listening, but it definitely feels like it, doesn't it? It's like you'll see somebody wearing a cute pair of shorts, and the next time you open your phone, you've got ads for those shorts. Or like I said, I was talking about Mae West, and now I have old Hollywood bloopers. But honestly, I'm not mad at it. Like, It's like how I leave my Easy Pass in my car, and people are like, the government's tracking you. It's like, let them watch me go to Wegmans. That's fine. Yeah. And honestly, if it's listening, then it's tailoring what I want to see. So Listen away, phone. I'm holding my phone next to my face for the rest of this conversation.
Honestly, Michael, same thing. In the past, like if I'm looking for a service, like for a while I was trying out like meal delivery kits. So I just kept talking about them from my phone, and then I would see more and more ads for different meal delivery kits. Leverage these systems for your own personal advantage. That's what I say.
Receive.
Yeah, like around the holidays.
Government secrets.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you ever I always think about that 2 times. If the government really is spying on us, it would be cool if I'm fine with it. So it'd be cool if the government at some point goes, we really think you're being super funny lately. We're loving it. Like, it would be awesome if they were like loving the text exchanges. Feedback. You're on. Yeah, it's amazing. Also, around Christmas time, what I start doing is telling my parents' interests into the phone, and then hoping I'll get targeted ads of things that I should potentially buy my parents for the holidays. Pop culture right now, it's good. The pop culture right now, you guys were talking about the last episode, a couple of things that I didn't get to mention on the show so far, which I eventually want to lead to Gwyneth Paltrow. But you guys did this story of something that I was so fascinated with. I was hoping you could explain to the audience, is Sofia Coppola and Thomas Mars, who's the lead singer of a band named Phoenix, their daughter posted I know the word iconic is potentially overused these days, but it was an iconic TikTok. Could you take my audience through this TikTok video?
Yes, I would love to, Ryan. What an incredible question. So this young child of nepotism, a long lineage of nepotism coming from the Coppola family, created what we can only assume or interpolate is her first TikTok ever. She says that she's not allowed to have social media because her parents don't want her to be a nepotism kid. And in a lot of ways, it reminds you of almost like if somebody's being held captive and they get like their one message out to the world. And it felt like this was her debut. And in this debut, she takes us through a journey. She misidentifies an onion and a shallot, admits openly she doesn't know what a garlic is, and introduces us to a new character in the story and the universe, which is her babysitter's husband or boyfriend. And it's kind of like, you're 16 years old. You have a 30-year-old babysitter who she refers to as her other parents because her parents are famously not home. It's a 49-second video where you have so much to unpack. And I think that's why it really popped off.
Well, and I love that it's veiled in a situation where she's like, I'm going to make a cooking video. Just like anybody else on TikTok, I'm going to attempt to make a vodka sauce, which she doesn't know how to make. And over the course of it, she's like, I can't make a TikTok because, and just cuts to her holding a Grammy. And and the fact that she used to Google these things, and she's been grounded because she took her dad's credit card and tried to book a helicopter to visit her friends from camp. She gives
all in
so much
seconds.
Information about her life in this cooking video, which was brilliant.
The thing that I also love about it is that this is completely unironic. She's not trying to be funny at all. She's trying to be completely like, hey guys, I got grounded because I try to use my parents' credit card to charter a helicopter to see my friend. Anyways, let's make vodka with pasta with vodka sauce. And it's like really, and she's so weirdly innocent and unaffected, but at the same time goes, hey, I'm not allowed to be on social media. My parents don't want to be on that because of, and then she holds up her dad's Grammy and then another, and I was like, even beautiful, like this is. By the way, I think I might have enjoyed this more than the Virgin Suicides, like Sophia's movie. I thought this was it was so well done. And you're like you said, it leaves you wanting more. I was like, there's no way there's a part 2 because she's probably grounded like even harder than she was before. But it made me go
super
like
grounded.
But then I'm like, I need a reality show of this person. I need more of this person. And I just love that. And also you guys made a great point on your show. Nepo baby was the term, but didn't she now change the conversation? She called herself a what?
A nepotism kid, which feels like exactly what a Nepo baby would call themselves.
Well, and that's, I think, the best part. And the TikTok was taken down almost immediately, as soon as her parents.
Wait, was it really?
Was it taken down? It was found, but it was removed.
It's gone. You can only find screen recordings of it.
Thank
the
God.
internet works very quickly.
Thank God the
back alley
TikTok
very well. Videos.
Yeah. But, and I feel like that makes it even better. And she's like, stick around for part 2, which there will never be, or we're all just waiting for part 2. Like, I can't wait for when forever. It happens. And I think the best part of this was like, I feel like the whole Nepo baby thing has been such a hot topic recently, with Jamie Lee Curtis, Kate Hudson, like all these big stars weighing in, Tom Hanks. And I feel like she just gives the most unapologetic version of a nepotism kid take on life, where she's like, no, this is what it's like to actually live my life. And she just leans into it completely with like, I don't know what a garlic or an onion is. I'm going to Google it. And then she ends up with a shallot. And you're just...
Well,
I just think it's so fun that she's injected this like level of whimsy. Yeah, she's like made the Nepo baby conversation fun again. It was getting sad.
But I want to stress, and you guys got to go see the video. Maybe I'll link it link it on the show notes. But what I love about it is she really does, for as affected as she is, she's wildly not affected. Like if you watch a Chet Hanks video, like a Chet Hanks, Tom Hanks's son video, they're like, oh, this kid, he's gonna have a rough road to go the rest of his life. You can see this girl, like, it's like her parents it seems like they've done a weirdly decent job at this point of like keeping her away. I mean, minus the chartering a helicopter. That seems wild. I wouldn't even like, what an amazing mind to even have that thought and to think I could potentially, my dad might not recognize the charge for chartering a helicopter on his Amex.
It's quite possible. But for someone, she seems like weirdly grounded and self-aware for someone who's saying these things, which I think is kind of the most refreshing part of it, where she's just like, nope, this is who I am and this is my life. Welcome.
what a great I was always thinking like, you tell people like, okay, it can't just be you've got to be doing something in an activity, and she chooses to make this pasta that she's never done before. And that's another thing too, because I was sitting there going, I never go, you know what, Ryan, I'm going to teach myself how to make stroganoff today. I'm going to do that. Like, I've never had that thought in my life. And she's like, come make this thing I've never made before, and then readily, like you said, admits she doesn't know what an onion looks like. And but she says it so, like you said, she's full of whimsy in it. So you're like, it's okay. Why would you know what an onion looks like?
Hey,
you don't have to know
see
that.
The world through our two eyes. I know, right? I mean, we met on Worst Cooks. I didn't know really what a shallot was until I showed up on that stage.
That's true. We weren't unlike her not too long ago.
Judge no one's culinary skills. Like her and I have about the same amount of prowess in the kitchen.
I would also like to point out to our listeners who have not watched this video, at no point does she make pasta. At no point is a noodle scene. She simply holds up a few vegetables, puts them back down, and moves on.
Yeah.
At this point too, I'm so paranoid because of social media, where I was like, what if her mom directed this? What if this was like carefully staged?
Yeah.
What if that's how weird I am with social media now, that I think like, this is so good. What if it's directed? What if it's like and she's just such a good actor, and her mom's directing her dad's saying it needs to be faster. Like, there's tempo to this, there's rhythm, like you said, we introduce a new character in 5 seconds. And then I start imagining her life of, she's like, my parents are never home, so this is my babysitter's boyfriend in the hallway. So I'm like, she's living basically with this babysitter and the boyfriend instead of her famous parents. Like, it was like, it gives so much room for so much more story that we'll never get. I love it.
That's actually
Ryan,
a brilliant idea.
I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this theory.
Now
I
I'm
want
really
this to be true.
That's what it is. Yeah.
But I will say, I have a really good nose for like fake staged content.
Yeah.
And this, to me, it didn't trigger any of my senses. So I'm going to vote this isn't staged, but I want that to be true. I want to live in a world where this was a gorgeous Sofia Coppola masterpiece.
Okay, so moving on to, I think, the trial of the century right now. Like, screw the Murdoch thing and all of that stuff. Are you like me, where I'm at the point where I'm like, Gwyneth deserves the death penalty. I think she's going to get fried. I'm joking. Like, Paris's face, by the way, you guys, was like, no, I mean, this is one of the most ridiculous trials, but at the same time, it kind of is a nice aperitif before like a murder trial or something, where you're like, you know what, trials can be fun. How would you describe the Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial that's happening right now?
It's my favorite thing that's happened.
Yeah, that's my
month.
Favorite show on TV right now.
Yes. I don't particularly care for Gwyneth Paltrow in any type of way. I've never sought out her content. Yes. She always kind of just finds her way into the conversation, and I'm not mad about it. This is the first time I've begun to stan Gwyneth Paltrow, because I think what works so well about this case is that the stakes are non-existent. She's suing for $1 in symbolic damages, and this guy's pretending he had some rib injuries from years ago that he's still suffering with. Now, I will say I've watched a lot of the trial, and I do believe Gwyneth. I have a tendency to believe women, and the evidence is in her favor. Everything says that he hit her. We all moved on. And then when he found out that who he hit was Gwyneth Paltrow, this became a storyline. So for her to treat this the way she has, I think is a perfect move. It's iconic, even though the word is overplayed. And I'm obsessed. I can't stop talking about it. Did you see the outfit she wore to court today?
Really, as somebody that shops mainly at Old Navy, I do recognize how good. I mean, she really is wearing these iconic outfits. And today it was like this black number with a little pop of white. I mean, really.
Oh, but with the boots, like thick boots.
Killing it. And by the way, did you guys see, because the trial, I believe, is close to Sundance, if I'm not sure. But she rented a ski chalet. She rented a ski chalet for her time on the trial. And I was like, just what a cool time in Gwyneth's life is that she doesn't have to do a movie. Yeah, like, she gets to go to this trial every day, and then she has this beautiful ski chalet to go at home at night. And I just picture the fires, she's like, conscious coupling with her new husband. And she's, it just seems like a really nice time in her life. We're all obsessed with her. And by the way, Gwyneth, I want to say, is somebody that's so amazing, because she's not trying to be a movie star anymore. She's not she just wants to do her goop empire. She's holding a yoni egg inside of her during her testimony. It's like amazing. So, Michael, what?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
Michael,
we
I'm so
definitely
sorry.
are. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to apologize for saying the yoni egg thing. Michael, what were you
Okay.
about to say?
Oh no, I just love that we're sort of like in the renaissance of Gwyneth right now because we just came off the
The
heels of her talking
Gwenaissance.
about the Gwenaissance, yes, the heels of her hearing all about her diet and the bone
Yes.
broth and her routine, and we all had a lot of comments on that. And then it feels like the next day was the trial.
Mhm,
It's as if this was all
mhm.
planned. It's
It's like a
amazing.
1-2 punch. Yeah, in terms of pop culture, what a great thing to have this on the heels of. She did this podcast interview, you guys, I talked about on the show, but she was basically like hooked up to IVs. She's obsessed with IVs.
Yeah.
Also, she's like, I'm sorry, I cheated on my diet. I had a second cup of bone broth at lunch, but but then she realized that didn't go over potentially well. And she's like, listen, you guys, that was on my doctor's recommendations. And then she goes, during the pandemic, I went off the rails. I was eating pasta. I was eating this. And I think that's completely BS. I don't think,
Yeah.
like, I think Gwyneth going off the rails isn't like me at Taco Bell, like on a just eating Doritos in my car. But I agree with you, Paris, that I think she's completely innocent. And I think that's the only reason she would actually do this, because
Yeah.
she's not going to, I mean, like, she's like, no, screw this guy. I'm a celebrity, but you can't just say you have a brain injury because I'm famous.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. She's giving very Velma Kelly when she took the stand in Chicago.
Mhm.
She's like, I'm gonna give it a character. I'm gonna have fun with it. This is free press.
Oh,
But
and
did
the
you hear the
lawyer-
theory?
What's the
Oh my
theory?
god, the lawyer that's obsessed with her.
Oh my
I heard a theory
Yeah.
that the bone broth storyline that dropped like right before the trial was an attempt to sort of obfuscate the trial itself, because perhaps her team was a little bit more concerned about how it would play out. So they were like, oh, isn't Gwyneth so kooky with her IVs? Haha, bone broth. So that people didn't pay attention to the trial. But I think they very quickly realized the trial was great for Gwyneth and her career. And they're like, oh no, the trial's fine. Let's lean into the trial.
Yeah, the opposite happened, because I feel like the bone broth, the diet plan, all of that, we all were like, ugh, she's even worse than we thought. Like, she's such a cringy human. And so no one liked her. So PR nightmare. And then now the trial, she's hysterical. She's the ossified Jeffrey Dahmer. So like, as someone tweeted so brilliantly. And all of a sudden now she's better than ever. For the first time in everyone's lives, we're sympathizing with Gwyneth Paltrow on the heels of the whole world kind of hating her. So talk about like a PR roller coaster right now.
Yeah.
Like, her team must be so bamboozled in the best way right now. And,
Oh my God.
And like we said, I love the, like, people are already trying to guess the cast of who's going to play these people. Like, I saw one recently,
Yes.
there's a call to have Sherry O'Terry play the lawyer, who just
Oh my
doesn't
God, that
cast
would
with
be
her.
great.
Is doing a casting.
Yeah,
Oh
and then
my-
Gwyneth has Gwyneth, but like Sherry O'Terry, could you imagine?
Yes, I
Like,
can complete.
Absolutely.
The lawyer on the prosecution side is just really obsessed with Gwyneth and like
Oh my
complimented.
God.
She's like, your ski outfit. She's like, well, you got to look pretty good in that ski outfit. You got to look really good. She's like, how tall are you? And Gwyneth's like 5'10", but I think I'm shrinking.
Yeah.
She's like, girl, me too. That's amazing. Like,
I know. It
And
sounds
she's like,
she's
how
finally
well
getting
do you know
drinks.
Taylor Swift? Could you get me tickets to the Eras tour?
What was the thing she called her? Small but mighty, and it actually made Gwyneth
Yeah.
giggle on the stand.
well, because even Gwyneth, like, I feel like this is almost even a her coming down to the regular people again, of like, oh wow, this is how the regular people live. Like, it's fun to interact with the regulars. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's funny. This she seems to be a fan, and like, you can tell Gwyneth at times is getting a kick out of her own trial. Like, this is like kind of
Yes.
fun
Oh,
for
yeah.
her in a sense. How long are we going to keep this going though? I feel like it's been weeks, and it's only
Probably
probably
almost
been
done, right?
I would hope so. Like, how much more can we have?
I think
I
so.
feel like we're wrapping it up soon. This storyline feels like it's reaching its natural conclusion. She showed up today in all black in like a full Salem witch trial couture look. I
Mhm.
think she just probably has a couple more days of this, and then we all move on, and the guy that sued her can eat rocks.
Yeah,
Well,
like, smart to not draw it out though. Like Fleabag, a couple of really good seasons and call it a day. Because I feel like the Johnny Depp one went on a little too long.
Oh, way
Like-
too long.
Oh
Ugh.
yeah, you think?
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, I think
because
I,
I love that one too. I love a celebrity trial now. I like that we're getting at least one per year. But I can't wait to see
Yeah.
who next year is. But Johnny Depp's, it was a little long. It was a little like where it hit. So we're going to add some seasons we didn't anticipate for, and the writers
Mhm.
didn't
yeah,
know
and it
quite
became
what to
less,
do.
and also became less funny as it went along. It wasn't
It's
as
true.
funny
It's-
as it went along. You're like, oh, this
It
is
just
kind
got sad.
do you think the Gwyneth Paltrow trial will get a second season? Do you think it'll get picked up? Do you think?
I could see someone suing her again just to instigate another trial of sorts. I might do it. I love getting litigious.
By the way, can you imagine seeing Gwyneth in public now and people are just falling all around her? Like, ow, ow.
I hope so. Oh, she could never go skiing again.
Oh my. Michael, you mentioned something now that I think is like, you really just created a PR strategy, is that, yeah, if like you're on the heel, like, maybe a thing to do to get back in good graces with the public is go to trial on something. Like, it gives an opportunity to show a whole different side of yourself. If you do something, try to make sure you're going to trial as quickly after something horrible that you do, or something that's ill-conceived with the audience.
Because the timeline here, like, this was 6 years ago that this incident happened, so it's really difficult to like plan when the trial is going to happen as far as a PR move goes. But this lined up so beautifully for Gwen.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it depends. Like, this was just such a gem of a trial. I don't know that anyone could be so lucky. You know, you just have to make sure it's one of these where, like, you know that this is A, kind of absurd, and B, that you're not the bad guy in this. Like,
I hope we start
talking. Both bad guys, you know.
I hope we start talking about trials like we do TV shows of like, oh, this one's a flop. Oh, do not even waste your time watching this trial. It's not living up. Like, this is not Succession. This is not good. I do not like this. You also mentioned that you guys are both into Survivor, because I asked them what reality shows they're watching, and they're both fans of Survivor and the new season of Survivor. And I think Michael said that's or maybe it was Paris that said niche. It's niche now, which is so hysterical because Survivor, when it came down that first season, was it's always going to be a juggernaut in some sense, but it really changed the landscape of reality television and competition reality television shows forever. But Survivor now, I mean, what is it? It's in its like 60th season, or it seems like something. And
45,
you guys, 45?
Yeah, we're on 45, I think.
45, yeah.
And Jeff Probst is still hosting. And I fell off the Survivor train a long time ago because I was just like, I used to love it dearly for the first 15 seasons. And then I was like, oh, okay. So they keep doing the island thing. Like, okay, got it. That's Survivor. What do you guys, can you take me into this season of why we should be watching this season?
Absolutely. Yes. So I confirmed we are in season 44.
Okay, thank you.
I think you're totally right, Ryan. For a while, Survivor sort of fell off the face. And during the pandemic, I think gays, as we love to do, is we find something fallen that we can find love in, and we like lift it up because we're like, hey, no one's paying attention to this, and you should be paying attention to this. Much like we did with Jennifer Coolidge, like we did with Laura Dern. We find things that are underappreciated for what they're offering, and we give them a platform. And we've done the same thing with Survivor in the past few seasons. And what I love about this season of Survivor is it's always a reflection of the current cultural conversation I find with Survivor. Like the past, I think maybe last season or the previous season, they addressed the fact that like statistically, Black contestants on Survivor are almost always eliminated first. And there was actually a tribal council last season or the season before, don't quote me on which season, where two of the contestants were both Black. And they were like, we do not, like, they brought this up in conversation. They're like, obviously everyone's going to try and get rid of us. That's how it happens on Survivor. And the non-Black contestants were like, oh shit, that's true. How do we make this strategic move for the game not be racist? And the girls were like, no, we're not having you not vote for us because we're Black and because the show has a history of that. We're both going to play our immunity idols, so that can't be part of the narrative. And we're going to play this fair and square while also simultaneously calling out systemic racism in ways that like you wouldn't expect a show like Survivor to have. Like these conversations are so in depth, and knowing that this is a show that's watched by not just gays, but like people across America, and they're being exposed to these kinds of conversations really like warms my heart. Michael, what would you say?
Oh, okay. Like
as I
really
ramble about systemic
racism.
I know you're
by the
so
way,
excited
you
about
pulled me completely back in. I was like, wait, okay, yeah, let's do this.
Get in it.
Yeah, it became my my pandemic show. I watched, I want to say 22 seasons of Survivor during lockdown with my gay roommate. So yes, we sort of like brought it back, and I just love it. I mean, my favorite thing about this current season though is they've added so many more twists and turns. There's a lot of idols in play. If you know about Survivor, there's the idols thing.
Yes.
And I feel like last season was nice, but it was mostly nice, kind of calm people. And I see what they were going for. They were going for like a season that wasn't going to be too tumultuous because the world was a lot. And they were like, we're going to give you some nice ones. This season, it's really relatable, but like there's a lot of I don't know how to say this. Like, there's a lot of
Chaos.
big personalities and a lot of chaos. Yeah. There's
Mhm.
no moment of calm this season. And the people are just all hilarious. Like, the people they chose are great characters. And they're like, none of them are necessarily combative or like villains. They're just big. Like, there's this woman, Carolyn, who's just like super wacky. And
she's the
like,
star of the season.
her
Carolyn
eyes
Lear.
are just always rolling. She's like, she's just such a who. I mean, it's just full of these amazing people. And you're right, like they somehow manage to have like brilliant social commentary, but they do it in the sense of Survivor. So I think it's sort of, you see what you want to see. If you want to really listen to what these people are saying and the different societal commentaries that they're making, you see that. Or if you just want to see people on an island, you see it. And that's what I think is kind of the genius of Survivor. It kind of is whatever level of deep you want it to be. Also, the editing is genius.
We just started the new season. The new season of Survivor, I believe, just started a couple of weeks ago. So you guys,
we're just a few episodes in.
You could still catch up right now. In fact, I'm going to add this to my DVR. Like, you really, not joking aside, sold me on it. And I do now that I think, but I heard that they also switched it. It used to be in the old days, like you were there on the island like 49 days. And now I hear there it's only 30. Is that true?
It's shorter. Yeah.
It's not as long as it used to be.
I don't like that. I want them there long. I want them starving. I want them like losing massive amounts of weight. I want it to be like Ozempic on the island, you know?
That's the one thing they don't really do as much anymore. Like, they have food and they have decent clothes. They're not as grimy looking as they used to be. And it's much more about the gameplay and less about the Survivor aspect.
It's less like Bear Grylls because there's so much of that content out there. And it's really more about like the social game and like the society we live in and how that reflects in the casting. I would love to just circle back to Carolyn again for a second, Ryan, as I know you love reality TV.
I do,
and I'm sure all of our listeners are gonna resonate with this. You know, when somebody knows they're on TV and they present themselves in a specific type of way, like Lucy LaDuca on Drag Race. Carolyn is one of the rare people where she's completely authentic, whether or not she's on camera. And it's so rare, I feel like, these days, where you get somebody who can deliver that as a reality TV character, and she's doing such an incredible job. And this is actually the first time in Survivor history that we have an all queer tribe, because in the most recent episode, spoiler alert, they voted out the last straight person. So now it's two gay guys and Carolyn, who's bisexual. And I'm like, Tika tribe, you were already my favorite. And wait, making history.
Were they like bi-hetero? Were they like, I mean, was it?
No, they weren't not like that. Like, in my mind, I was like,
they
get
were
rid of her.
It was the best move. But honestly, if you haven't watched Survivor in a long time, this is the season to get back into it with. Like, if you watched it 20 years ago and you were like, oh, that was fun when I was like younger, this is the season to reintroduce yourself to the show.
Okay, guys, I'm telling you, I actually am going to get into the show.
Yay!
Okay, but this is the other thing too. I think that speaks to how historic this show is that I always say, because of Survivor, it even changed Housewives. Like, Housewives started off as almost like if you go back and watch those first seasons, it almost seems like a pseudo documentary, a docu-series. It's not, but nowadays it has this Survivor element where everybody is trying to win the season, or like, like who's the villain, who's the hero,
control
and they
the narrative.
These housewives are trying to control the narrative or trying to win the show, and there's no prize except for social media followers, but it's still prevalent. Like, and I feel like that's a direct result of shows like Survivor, and Survivor is the number one show like that. Now, another show that you said you guys watch, as we start winding down here, if you have a couple more minutes, I do want to talk about, you said, I think, Michael, you said you were watching, is it Real Boyfriends of WeHo or Real Friends of WeHo? Real Friends of WeHo, which is WeHo.
Yeah.
It used to be on Friday nights right after Drag Race. I think the season finale is aired, hasn't it? Or is it still going?
It's over. It felt like they ended it early. Because there was a lot of unfinished business in the finale that I was kind of like, did they just cancel it because everyone was talking shit about it?
I don't know.
Well, this is a show that needs a trial, by the way, because people were talking shit so much about this online. I didn't get to watch it. And it was like Friday night. I watched Love After Lockup, which is like a personal journey for me. But this
you love prison.
I do. I gotta wait. You're right, Paris.
You're in your prison era,
upset. I'm noticing a theme: trials, prisons. Like,
what if we pull back on Dateline and you realize I am in prison right now? And this is just... No, like, So this show was getting universally ripped on like Twitter. I saw it mainly, which is just like toxic hellhole. So hey, if you follow me on Twitter, but you said you guys, or like Michael, are you saying you kind of liked it? You kind of binged it, or
really into it? So, and I will admit, I'm just getting into the Housewives thing. I just watched Housewives of Beverly Hills because my boyfriend is a huge Housewives fan, and I'd never really watched it before. So with him, we've now watched Potomac and Beverly Hills, and what else? I got really into Beverly Hills. That's why it's on my head. And like,
are you caught up with Beverly Hills? Are you with the Lisa Rinna's last season?
Oh, you are.
Oh yeah, and the Kathy Hilton and all of that.
Oh my god!
And I was like, because before I always was like, why do people watch this? I didn't. And then watching that season with him, I get it now. I truly get it. And then with everything with the Friends of WeHo, I know a big part of the discussion was like, they're doing nothing totally dissimilar to what the women are doing, but a lot of, especially within the gay community, people were really critical of it. And my friends and I would have these conversations of like how most, especially gay men, are much more willing to support women doing something as opposed to gay men doing the same thing. We're much more critical of ourselves than we are. We would rather watch like an iconic woman being fabulous than watching a gay man doing the same thing. And so that was in my head. And I was like, you know what? I should be more supportive of my community. I should not make judgments based on tweets. I should give this show a chance and watch it. And I will say, I got really into it because I can connect to these guys on a different level than I can the Housewives, which I think the great thing about the Housewives is they're so different from most everyone. But these guys, I don't know. I got really into their stories. I've teared up a few times. Yes, they have their sort of ridiculous, like the fighting moments. I know, Paris, don't judge. I also
By the way, Paris did let out this very, you heard it, a very judgmental laugh when Michael said,
Michael to
I've
cry
teared up a couple. And Paris goes,
Friends of WeHo.
I was talking to somebody yesterday and I was like, oh yeah, this thing made me cry. And my boyfriend was like, Michael, everything makes you cry. It's true.
Yeah.
But Curtis, his whole like coming out, one of the guys is coming out on the show to his family, and it's like really touching. And I don't know, and much like the Gwyneth Paltrow trial, who knew I would ever find Todrick Hall to be like very sympathetic?
Well, he had a horrible season on Big Brother, and he was very hated for his season on Big Brother, among some other things.
He's great on this show, I think. So
what about Brad Goreski? How does Brad Goreski come off on this show?
Great. I love Brad.
Brad Goreski's, he does kind of like a Rinna, I'm a producer and a cast member role, because I feel like he's the only one who kind of gets what they're doing on the show, so he really moves things forward in a way that you need. But he's like, the best at being on the show.
Yes.
I hate to bring up your favorite character Caroline from Survivor again, but I feel like, I mean, I don't like when characters self-produce. That's why I really disliked Rinna by the final season of Beverly Hills, because it was so much fake, like self-producing and stuff like that. And I just truly hate that kind of stuff, because I want to watch actual behavior. I wanted people that are somewhat unaware still, because I mean, I think there's two separate types of reality stars. They're like the unawares and the ones that self-produce. But I like that Real Friends of WeHo. I'm glad I finally found somebody that actually likes the show, because by the way, I feel like then it just became fun to make fun of the show. Like it wasn't even people watching the show, they just made fun of the show. I wonder if it's going to get a second season.
I don't know. And there is one guy on the show that the one thing I don't like is he keeps talking about the show. And I was saying this last night, actually. I was like, I much prefer they not even talk about the fact that they're on a TV show, like on Housewives. Most of the time you kind of forget that they're like, you feel like you're watching them, right?
And that way when they do that moment of this is a show, it kind of like, whoa, it's like, use it sparingly. Don't use it every 5 minutes. Yes. Okay. What is on the agenda for the show this week? Because you guys really do go through these topics and these research and like, okay, this is what we're focusing on. And we're only at Tuesday right now. So you'll have a couple more shows this week. What are you guys covering? What is on your radar? Any big new things that you're obsessed with?
What's lovely about our show is that us and our producers, Danielle Jones-Wesley, Sunny Balkan, and Chelsea Jacobson, all have a
three
group chat.
Producers?
We do, and they're all women.
We're so fabulous gals.
Oh my God.
I love them so much.
Help me.
But we just have a big group chat that we just dump everything that we're obsessed with online into. So it's just like a feed of different things, and then half of them all end up in the outline for the episodes, and it's just like talking about the stuff that we're already talking about. For example, do you remember when that woman, that mysterious figure, was escorted out of the Taylor Swift concert during the first like 2 songs? She was like, had a police escort. Did you see that?
Yes, 100%.
Another TikTok user came forward claiming that that was his ex and that he has a story to tell about like what happened there. So we might touch on that because I don't necessarily believe this man whatsoever. I think he's full of shit. I'm calling bullshit on him, just trying to get clout from a stranger he doesn't know. I don't think
I hate
so.
that TikTok trend where they'll be like, I've got a story to tell. Come back tomorrow. It's like, we're here right now. You tell me right now. I don't get me to another video.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, it's always
you.
fun, like, because we do dump it in and it's literally like right before we go on, we're like, okay, which ones are the ones we want to do today, like right now? So it's fun. It's very much like to the minute. So we shall see which ones we end up deciding on for the next 2 episodes.
Social media happens every day.
It does. It does. And that's why you need a show like this to actually keep you completely informed. The Social Dose each week. Finally, what is your least favorite, what is your least favorite trend that you've encountered so far? Since we are in a hate economy.
We're in a hate economy.
Wait, what was the word you guys used it earlier? It was rage, or what was the
Renaissance? Oh, rage baiting.
Rage baiting. Yes,
yeah.
rage baiting. I love that.
Rage baiting. Okay. It's like clickbait, but they just intend to piss you off because that you might stick around. For me, it's anything staged or forced that is specifically poorly performed. Because it's one thing if you're like doing a bit and you're staging it, but it's another if you want me to pretend that this is like an authentic prank reaction when it's horribly acted. You're gonna piss on my leg and tell me it's raining? No, this is bad content. Stop engaging with this content. It's shit. It's low effort and it's poorly performed. Be done with it. Do better. Be funny. Be authentic. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm mad.
I'm basically just gonna second that. It's when creators get on and they're just kind of lazy and they're like, I feel like I can just sort of like vaguely recreate this thing that went viral, but not in a particularly original way. That, or honestly, you know what I'm a little over, and maybe this makes me even less gay than I thought I was. The guys in the like the gray sweatshorts who don't wear underwear and they just sort of jump around like they're doing a TikTok trend, but really it's just all about their penis. I'm a little tired of that. I'm like, guys,
Paris is like,
you have a hot body and a big
still.
penis.
I actually kind of like that.
Hot take, Michael. I can't say that I agree.
I don't know. I'm just.
But also, none of that is on my For You page. My For You page is mostly lesbians, to be honest, which I love. Is yours just lots of dick prints and sweat?
Well, it's just like it's just people who like do something kind of lame and then rely on their hotness to be the reason that people watch it. And it's just like, no, a lot of people can like be better, be more interesting. But Paris, you are interesting and funny and hot.
Thank you, Michael. During the pandemic, because we had to wear masks, I had to develop a personality.
Yeah,
no one could see how hot I was.
Okay, see, you see the dynamic here. It's amazing. By the way, Paris said that thing about the fake stuff. Is that on Facebook? It's even worse on Facebook than TikTok. If you want to see real bad acting that gets like millions of likes, go to Facebook. They'll do these like weird breakup videos, like I caught my wife cheating, and it's the worst acting you've ever seen in your life. And then you'll be like, these comments have to all be saying this is horrible, bad acting, and they're all like, yeah, that's what I would have done too. Like they're like totally. I'm like, people are so dumb sometimes.
Yeah.
Wait, Ryan,
we were just talking about one of these.
Yeah. So I recently did a video where we also saw the video of Nicole Kidman on the red carpet, just kind of like serving and posing.
Of course.
I did a video where I dubbed over and pretended like what sounds she was making. And I just like made some kind of sounds. The comments on this video, half of them are people being like, wow, she's so smug. I can't believe she would say those things and make those noises. Like people believe that this is actually Nicole Kidman.
And they don't read if you put it in the comments, this is not real, they'll never read it. Like it's so wild. They'll just believe that and they'll pass it on to their friends of like, look at this very real thing that anybody could tell it's anyways. This is why you need the Social Dose, you guys, 3 times a week. These guys are really amazing. I hope you guys will come back at some point to talk shit about a bunch of other pop culture things because you really, truly, I really, and you got me on Survivor now again after all of this time. So
you're welcome.
Paris Nicholson, Michael Judson Berry, the Social Dose. What I ask you guys to do with any podcast that take the time to come on this show is go subscribe, go rate it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify immediately. They do this. I mean, like this is podcasting is we do this out of passion, out of love, and it's one of the freest things you can do is just take your thumb and hit that 5-star button, because what it does, it helps the placement on Apple Podcasts, especially so people can discover this show. And I think this is a show that's worth discovering, and especially while it's finding its footing, people need to know about this. Is there anything else that we can support with you guys with right now?
Wow.
Honestly,
was
follow me
incredible.
everywhere at Paris Nicholson. Like all of my posts. Engage with the content.
I'll put that in the show notes, you guys, to
Same
go
with-
follow them everywhere. Anything for
Yes,
you, Michael?
please. At Judson Berry, do the same. And we blast the show every time we have a new episode. We're always sure to share it. So if you will find it on our pages.
Okay, perfect.
You can't miss it. It's our new favorite thing.
Yeah.
We will we'll talk to you guys next time, and I'll be listening to you on Thursday. Okay.
Awesome.
Ryan, thank you so much for having us.
Yes. I can't wait to hear about your takes on Survivor.
Oh my God, I will actually let you. I'm like, oh my God,
I can't wait to tune in for your Survivor episode.